Over the last few months, this channel has tried very, very hard to avoid most of the political discourse going on in Washington, D.C. right now. We have uploaded reruns of our Antarctica videos. We've talked about Venezuela. But the noise has reached such a crescendo right now that it is almost impossible to not say something about what's really happening, given the amount of coverage that we gave it months and months and months ago, and the things that we predicted having come true over and over and over again. In this video, I'm going to show you things that we predicted way back last January that are now coming true. I created a video in November of 2024 with this thumbnail. That's right after Trump got elected, he started doing things almost immediately that portended he was going to betray everyone who voted for him. And I got a lot of pushback saying, oh, you're jumping the gun. This is 5D chess. This is art of the deal. Well, folks, I don't know how you get out of this without just coming to the conclusion that criminals do not obey laws. And Donald Trump's one of them. He's just one of them. That's just fact. Now, before I show you the actual evidence, as always, I want to say thank you to all of you who have continued to join us, Florida Maquis Patreon channel. You guys are the reason I'm still here putting up any videos at all. And we're going to put up a brand new one here in the next 24 to 48 hours. And it's going to cover a psychological operation going on right now in Washington, D.C. I'm sure a lot of people are probably already typing or saying, Florida Maquis, haven't you seen the good thing that Donald Trump has done in Washington, D.C.? He's brought in the National Guard, and it's stopped crime, and it's so wonderful. Well, the first question I would ask is that, wouldn't that work virtually anywhere? And wouldn't it have worked for virtually every president? You see, if, say, Barack Obama or George Bush had decided to pick a random city and roll in the National Guard, crime would have dropped precipitously there too. It's called martial law. It doesn't matter whether it's Philly or whether it's Chicago or whether it's LA or whether it's Washington, D.C. Martial law works every time it's tried. Why is it a positive when Donald Trump does it? But we're going to get even more into that argument because we can't talk about that stuff here at YouTube. I can reference it generally speaking like I just did, but the nuts and the bolts of it, love to have you over there at Patreon. We're going to have a long video talking about the reality of what's coming. If you'd like to sign up over there, there's 4 levels, 2, 5, 10, and 15 a month, and they are all, every single one of them, fully refundable for not a week, 2 weeks, 90 days. 90 days. You can go over there for 3 months and watch videos and then still get all of your money back, no matter how much you pay. So God bless all of you who've done that. I very, very much appreciate it. It's not for everybody, so don't think you're going to hurt my feelings. It's psychological operations training. Now, like I said, there's something that Washington, D.C., and perhaps the upcoming intervention in Chicago have in common. What is it? Well, it'll work for a minute. It'll work for a minute until the criminals just adapt. And they will adapt. They'll take what they do underground. There's something that we have talked about at length for the last 2 to 2.5 years. That is an adaptation that has been wildly successful from something that would have been, if it was in public, a criminal activity, but now because it is in the underground, people are making millions, if not billions of dollars doing this now, and it was a simple adaptation to police presence. Can't talk about it here, though. But one thing we can talk about is this very strange response that I have gotten from a lot of conservatives, a lot of Trump supporters, when we talk about immigration. Florida Maquis, they would say to me, we're not racist. We just want them to come here the right way. We want them to go through the channels the proper way that, Washington, D.C., the good, wonderful, honest, decent Christian people that everyone in Washington, D.C. is, we want them to go through immigration the right way and come here the legal way. And once they're here, we won't have any problem with their culture. We won't have any problem with their behavior once they've been officially named Americans by Washington, D.C. We have no problem with legal immigration, trying to avoid being called a racist or avoid being called ignorant. Well, let me show you something real quick. It's going to blow your mind. You ready? This is legal migration. Little Irish kid here. Now do you see it? Now do you see it? Culture can be destroyed through legal immigration or illegal immigration. It doesn't matter how they come. It doesn't matter how they arrive. Legal, illegal does not matter when it comes to culture. This kid will never be Irish. I don't care if he was born in Ireland. I don't care if his father was born in Ireland. I don't care if his grandfather was born in Ireland. He's never going to be Irish or English or French or German or Italian or Hungarian or Polish or Russian. Never gonna Swedish. Never gonna happen. This is a little African child. Period. Regardless of whether he came to Ireland legally or illegally, and I guarantee he came legally. Because Ireland has been legally importing people from all over the country for a long time, and it's gotten to be a problem. He's there legally. It's a problem. Now, the beginning of the betrayal started a long time ago. Oh, by the way, those of you not believing me on this, and if you don't believe me, you can ask Patriot Nurse, because she had the exact same take last November that I had. There was a blurb that came out that absolutely stunned everyone who saw it. This was November 9th, after the election. Donald Trump said, "I'm very surprised that the Democrats, who fought a hard and valiant fight in the 2020 presidential election, raising a record amount of money, didn't have lots of money left over. Now they're being squeezed by vendors and others. Whatever we can do to help them during this difficult period, I would strongly recommend we as a party, and for the sake of desperately needed unity, do. We have a lot of money left over in that our biggest asset in the campaign was earned media. And that doesn't cost very much. Make America great again. Donald Trump wanted you to send your money to the Democrats to help them bail them out of the bills they incurred." And I had pushed people to Chanel Rion from OAN, who had this wonderful thing. She had a show she had called Fine Point, where she said, "Give me division. Unity with the insane is a death sentence." And Patriot Nurse said, look, in this particular kind of a decision between right and wrong, good and evil, be the better person, screw that. No. This is not the case. But let's get back to the immigration thing. Oh, real quick, if you want to look at this, the date on this, November 10, 2024, a Max Trump alert. Mask falls off the charlatan. Face of the great betrayer now revealed to America. This is from June. Our great farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business have been stating that our very aggressive policy on immigration is taking very good long-time workers away from them, which is pretty much everything the Democrats said would happen. With those jobs almost being impossible to replace. Almost being impossible to replace. So much so that the criminals were allegedly applying for the jobs. It was absolutely a moronic take. But NBC News was not wrong. They were not factually incorrect here when they said that in 2022 to 2023, all of U.S. population growth was immigration. when Joe Biden had the border open. First time since 1850 that all U.S. population growth came from immigration, loss of culture. And if any other president had this done, it would be number one thing to talk about on every platform. ICE can now enter your home without a warrant. Try that in Florida. To look for migrants. DOJ memo says. Try that in Florida. See what happens. Some ICE agents come to my door without a warrant. You're going to see me in the news. And it ain't going to be because of my YouTube channel. And I think there's a lot of guys out there like, hell yeah, you got a warrant? By all means. Because that's the legal and right constitutional way of doing things, is it not? But guess what? Under Donald Trump, the Constitution doesn't matter. ICE can enter your home without a warrant. Let's keep going. This is recent. This is today. Just in, President Trump says it is insulting to say that 600,000 Chinese students shouldn't be able to come to America, and that if we kicked them out, our university system would go to hell. Quote, "We're getting along very well with China. It's very insulting to say students can't come here. They'll go out and build schools. They'll be able to survive it. I like that their students come here. You know what would happen if they didn't? Our college system would go to hell very quickly. I thought it had already gone to hell, Mr. President. We check, we're careful, we see who's there, but we have a tremendous college system. That's why China sends them here. Call it an industry if you want. I'm honored to have the students from China come here. 600,000 Chinese students are going to come to America under Trump. Legally. This is kind of a greatest hits. I'm sure those Chinese students won't have any problem lining up for his brand new super mega vaccine, his mega jab, Project Stargate. That's going to be an mRNA miracle for everyone. I talked about this so much that I probably don't have to say it anymore. The, Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, Gulf of not one arrest. Oh, and those of you who are thinking that the IRS was going to be shuttered or reduced, the IRS has reversed all of its layoffs, calling back staff fired, pushed out, or retired early to fill staffing gaps and advance the one big beautiful bill. This marks a sharp reversal from Trump's earlier pledge to rein in the IRS when he blocked Biden's plan for 87,000 new hires, denounced it as an army of auditors, and promised deeper cuts. That's before he got elected. And I found this meme, I thought would be very appropriate because I think it hits everyone who's listening, who's still listening, where it hurts. Israel can get hundreds of billions of dollars from the United States just for asking. So many Americans, good, decent, hardworking Christian Americans, can't afford food or health care right now. And this girl on the right, I don't know who she is on social media, Julie Donuts. She goes by Julie Snark 1731. She just types that car payment you missed or were late on. That steak that you hadn't had in a long time that you had to put back. That $15 of gas you put in your car because it's all you had. That vacation, once again this year, just like last year and the year before that and the year before that, that you couldn't take. The school sport your child had been looking forward to, but couldn't participate in because you didn't have the money. That sweater you had to put on, those of you up north. That heat you turned down so it wouldn't kick on as soon. That gift that you wanted to buy your kids to kind of make it up, for not being able to be in the sport, but you couldn't even afford that. And on and on and on. None of that's changed. None of that has changed in a year, 8 months. From a guy that loves to brag about not taking a $770,000 a year salary, pardon me, not knowing that the vast majority of Americans are so bad at math that they don't understand how little $770,000 is to a man worth $4.7 billion. Because people are just bad with zeros. A man worth $4.7 billion refusing a $770,000 a year salary is the same as someone who has a net worth of $470,000 refusing a $77 a year salary. If you knew someone who had a net worth of nearly $500,000, would you be impressed by them turning down a $77 a year salary? Would that make you think, oh my gosh, that person's for the little guy? No. Somebody who is worth at a net worth of $500,000, $77 a month would be not evidence of their golden heart. But $77 a year? $77 a year from a guy who spent all of last year and the year before that taking campaign donations worth $4.7 billion and taking campaign donations to cover his legal bills in his campaign. And then after having gotten elected, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta, Apple, and OpenAI all donated $1 million to the guy's, just his inauguration alone. This is kind of going back a little bit, but we're going to cover it. Donald Trump will keep us out of wars. He won't bomb Iran. John McCain wanted to bomb Iran. Lindsey Graham. All these other neocons, they wanted to get us into wars. What did Donald Trump do in his first year? Bombed Iran. Bombed Iran and just handed over the checkbook to Benjamin Netanyahu to exterminate. Well, anyway. And it goes on and on. Executive order to help bring honesty by declaring states merely agents for the federal government in counting and tabulating votes. It's just unreal how far this goes. Criminals don't obey laws. It's just fact. And like I said, I'm not the only one who saw this. I'm not quite sure how to help you with that. Anyway, I will leave it there. But love to have you at Patreon. We got a lot of folks over there. We can always use more. Believe me, 2 a month, 5 a month, 10 a month. That doesn't seem like a lot of money, but it makes a difference when everybody works together. I know it sounds a little bit like socialism, but when everybody works together toward the common goal, believe me, it makes a difference. God bless. Pray for each other. Pray for me, I'll pray for you. Lift each other up. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.